Do you know what happened to their ratings when the world found out they were full of shit with Russia? Go look at their ratings. Go look at their ratings the week after the world found out this entire dossier was funded by a lady named Hillary Clinton. What happened to the ratings afterwards? You know why? Because Americans were sitting there saying, we believed you. Schiff, we believed you guys.
Patrick Bet David brought on this woke never Trumper onto his show, the PBD podcast here on the Valuetainment YouTube channel. And this never Trumper tried to convince Patrick Bet David and the co-host here that Donald Trump is a Russian asset. Like they're still trying to convince people that Donald Trump is colluding with Russia, that he's a Russian asset. He's a former CIA official who goes on the PBD podcast and tries to convince and debate Patrick Bet David into thinking that Donald Trump is a Russian asset. And Patrick Bet David, of course, is not going for it and shuts this guy down in a very heated exchange. Let's get into this clip here from the PBD podcast and the Valuetainment YouTube channel where Patrick Bet David puts this woke never Trumper in his place when it comes to Donald Trump.
Compromising
I had Jack Barsky on 2 weeks ago. He's a former KGB. I'm fully aware what you're talking about.
So look at how Trump then engaged with the American people. Anytime he was criticized, it's fake news. He went and targeted people who wouldn't bend the knee. Look who got attacked constantly by Trump world. McCain in particular. They went after John McCain. Why? Because he was the only member of the party with enough clout that might be able to push back on his cult of personality. So what do? They try to go after his legacy. They try to go after and get compromising information to him. Why is it that Lindsey Graham flips like this? Lindsey flips like this because Lindsey is gayer than the day is long, and he's afraid that if that comes out in South Carolina, he doesn't get reelected. That's why he suddenly goes from being John McCain's best friend. I remembered them when they were, I used to hang out with these people. I saw them. They were dear friends.
You're dropping some absolute bombs right
and
now.
What does this have to do with Russia? Go back to the Russia
What I'm telling you
topic.
this is that, so
make your point on Russia. That's what I'm curious.
Trump is trained to act like a Russian asset would. He's trained to take over power in the way a Russian asset, if they were in place, would. Look at what he's gotten us to do. In 4 years, we all now yell at each other. We don't trust anything.
That was Obama's second term that started.
But we really don't trust it now. He poured jet fuel onto it. Why? If you're an American president, is your job to unite and lead this country and make it better?
Oh my God.
Or is it, hold on, do you feel like you came out of that presidency more united or more divided?
More divided, for sure.
Okay, hold on. I listened to you guys talk for 10 minutes. My turn.
Sure.
All right. If you feel like you came out of it more divided, let me ask you this. What is the job of the American president? It's to fight for this country. It's to make this country great again, for example. You really feel like you came out of this great? You really feel that the animosity and the strife that we all feel when we talk about this son of a bitch is good? No, this is exactly what our enemies wanted.
I agree with that.
This is Putin's wet fucking dream. And so this is what I come back to. I went to a birthday party 2 weeks after the 2016 election. It was a bunch of Polish family. They had come here. They'd grown up in Poland under communism.
Yeah.
I was standing on the back deck with the dad, and we were talking about the election. And I asked him, so what do you think? And he goes, do you want my honest opinion? I go, yeah. And he goes, you Americans have no experience with what just happened to you. This is how they take over. And by the time you figure it out, it'll be too late. And it terrifies me because I loved this country. And it's stuck in the back of my mind this whole time, right?
Sentimental story, but
no,
Matt,
look at
what's fascinating what's fascinating is I see it the same way, but I see it from a different perspective.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they probably are trying to, force dissent onto the population. I've said this a million times. They're trying to cause chaos for sure, because it's easier to take power whenever there's chaos going on. And I think it was Zuby that had the famous quote back in like 2020 where he was saying that when there's chaos, people don't just accept authoritarianism, they actually demand authoritarianism. So yeah, they're trying to cause chaos. They're trying to force dissent onto the population for sure. And when I say they, I mean like the very powerful billionaires who want more power and things like that. But I don't think Donald Trump is the mastermind behind the whole thing. I really don't. I think that Donald Trump might have been a wild card, and then at first they tried to kind of shut him down, and then they were like, hold on, this guy might actually help us out and actually cause some more chaos. But I don't think Donald Trump is the mastermind behind the entire thing. I don't think he's trying to take over the world or anything like that. I think Donald Trump has been the same Donald Trump for the entire time that we've known of Donald Trump. You know, he's always been this same person. So to say that, you know, Russia like approached him and said, hey, start acting like this now and run for president, and we're gonna make you super powerful and all this, like Donald Trump has been the same person the entire way through. So that doesn't make any sense. And Patrick Bet-David's about to absolutely shut this guy down. I'm curious to see what you guys think, though. Do you agree somewhat that Donald Trump could be a Russian asset? I don't think so at all. But let's see what Patrick Bet-David has to say here.
So to me, I mean, everything you're saying I agree with, but I'm saying to myself, this started with Obama's second term, the division.
I'm sorry, you don't think he's an asset? Look what he tries to do. He discredits NATO. NATO is the one thing that has kept Russia in check for 70 years. And suddenly he's questioning the
wants them
thing.
to pay their bills.
Why is it that every foreign policy thing that man did was in favor of Putin? Why is it that it always benefited Putin? That is the one common...
The Chinese trade deal benefited Putin?
Yes, absolutely. The Chinese trade deal benefits Putin.
How?
Are you kidding me?
No, seriously.
All right, Russia is sitting right next to China. They're part of the Belt and Road strategy that China wants. They're trying to integrate a market over there. Anything that benefits China helps out Russia's economy. Russia is just as dependent as the Chinese as we are. They don't want the Chinese economy to collapse just as much as we don't. You have to understand, Putin is playing a much, much longer game. The best way I just heard it described is when the Cold War ended, we spiked the ball at the 1 yard line. We didn't put our foot on their throat. This is a KGB officer who couldn't stand the fact that his country lost. And he's been playing the long game ever since.
Let me ask a question. So go back and tell us this saint of yours that was perfect at foreign policy. Who do you put as a standard? Who's the gold standard for you?
I don't think there's a saint in U.S. foreign
But
policy.
who's your gold standard? Because you hate this guy, so give us the gold standard.
Harry Truman.
Harry Truman's your gold standard.
If you were to pick an American president that was able to articulate, I mean, the Truman.
But you hate this guy. You hate Trump.
You want to know why I hate him?
Yeah, I'm still curious to hear it.
Because people like you seem to like him.
Are you out of your mind? Do you know people like me?
No, I like
people like me escape the bullshit of people like you that bought into the games being played against guys like him.
I think you're what makes this country great, and I can't figure out why someone as smart as you.
Do you want me to explain to you why? It's not. But wait a minute. You make it seem like this is a Trump podcast.
No, it's not. But like, I don't understand. Forgive me.
Yeah.
The way I look at him is binary. I can't look at him and see good things.
I can look at Obama and see good things. I can look at Biden and see good things. I can look at Bill Clinton and see good things.
Then you're better than I am.
It's not about being better than you are, buddy. It's not about that. I love America. And I don't look at people from the standpoint. I've sit down with mobsters, gangsters. I've sit down with, communists. I love talking to communists because it's a great conversation for me. I don't sit there and say, I hate this guy. See, the challenge with your side, because you sound like a broken record right now, as if it's CNN or MSNBC. Do you know what happened to their ratings when the world found out they were full of shit with Russia? Go look at their ratings. Go look at their ratings the week after the world found out this entire dossier was funded by a lady named Hillary Clinton. What happened to the ratings afterwards? You know why? Because Americans were sitting there saying, we believed you. Schiff, we believed you guys. Cuomo, we believed you. Lamont, we believed you. Cooper, we believed you, and you.
Yeah, this is 100% facts from PBD right here, and they've been lied to so many times since then, and that's why mainstream media is completely just dying. Like nobody, like who watches CNN, MSNBC, Fox News? Like who watches any of this stuff? Because it's not just the left-wing media that lies. I think the left-wing media lies a whole lot more than the right-wing media does, but the right-wing media will still spin certain things to provoke their audience into watching more. That's what media is, right? That's what mainstream media is. That's their job, to get people to be, to get people to feel emotions that are conducive to them continuing to watch their show. And so right-wing and left-wing media both do it. Legacy media, they all do it. And that's why nobody watches their stuff anymore, because they've been burned so many times. Because now we have the internet, which they didn't have previously. So you could just lie and lie and lie. And, if you're a right winger, you just believe the right wing lies. If you're a left winger, you just believe the left wing lies. And now we have the internet to where people can just go search and find out if you're lying or not. And now everybody understands that they've just been lying to us the whole time. So nobody watches it. You have to be an idiot to watch it. So Patrick Bet-David's absolutely cooking this guy right now.
Fooled us. And now Brian Williams, who's a guy that interviewed you, says, what? I'm done with this. I'm worried because of what's going on to America today. And he's stepping away. So for me, when it comes down to guys that come out and say things like that about Trump and Russia, oh my gosh, tell me one president. First of all, let's put the truth out there. Has this been a guy that his entire life has been a master troll and a bully?
Yeah.
Yes, I don't disagree. Has this been a guy that came from the streets of New York where negotiations are all hardcore and you got to go against other guys that are also hardcore because New York's DNA is like you are? This is what I like. Is that how New York is?
Yes.
This is New York's DNA. America's not Matt Zeller.
No.
America's not Chris Christie.
No.
America's not Hillary Clinton nor Trump. America's not Cuomo. America is more Tyler. America is more just a regular person that loves his country, right?
Right.
Okay.
100%, man. Patrick Bet-David absolutely annihilated this guy. Let me know in the comments who you think came out on top. Who do you agree? Do you agree with this guy somewhat, this former CIA official who's trying to convince PBD that Donald Trump is a Russian asset? Do you agree with him at all, or do you just fully agree with what Patrick Bet-David here is saying? Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this whole PBD podcast clip here live on the Valuetainment YouTube channel.